Welcome back to the Hip Politics Podcast. It's your boy, Mr. Cameron Calvin, a.k.a. Mr. Hip Politics, a.k.a. Mr. 216 to the 202.
Yes.
We are back for a special live edition, live and taped.
Yeah.
But live edition because as listeners and folks know, I'm based here in Washington, D.C., and June 4th is an extremely important date. Way before we get to November, we've got primary elections here in D.C., and as part of the candidate conversation series where you've heard us going all over the country, we've talked to folks from as far as Rhode Island to California to Ohio, and now we are back here in the D.C. metro area, not metro, D.C., Washington, D.C., my home for the last 20 plus years. I wanted to bring a really dynamic candidate, a person that I've been able to build and grow with over the years. You started off as a person that I just watched, and I'm a super fan of stand-up comedy.
Right.
So it started there. So I've been hip to your career for the last 15, 20 years,
Easily, huh?
And but then I'm forgetting the story of how we actually met. But in your first race and running, and like when
I met you. We were at an event, and I was introduced to you.
Oh yeah, yes.
Yes, I was introduced to you, and I mean, our relationship took on its own, validity.
Yeah. So when I think about what hip politics means, the idea of like mobilizing the political power of hip hop,
Right.
Both the culture and the community, and really trying to pull those pieces together, but pull like hip hop as powerful as it is. I think you represent the epitome of that, in the sense that you come from the culture. Mm-hmm. You're of the culture. You've promoted the culture in the many art forms that hip hop broadly represents through stand-up comedy, but your presence in the community, as I dug deep into your background and the work you've been doing, the people I've seen the lives I've seen you affect and touch personally, with your presence, with your resources, with your advocacy. This turned into when I was like, there's no better person. If I'm gonna find a candidate here in Washington D.C., it's a ton of different races going on. I had to sit down and talk with you. So to listeners, people who can see this live on the interwebs, people who are listening, welcome to Hip Politics Podcast Candidate Conversations, Mr. Rodney Red Grant.
I give you this because I cut myself for a fan. No, this way. I got a blood brother in here right now.
No, I feel you. Yeah. For people that are listening and people that are also watching, like we're doing this as kind of a live meet and greet,
right,
with some local constituents, co-sponsored with a Navy Black. Navy Black is a group of young black professionals in the Navy Yard area of Washington, D.C., mostly, which incorporates Ward 8, right down here in the gentrified waterfront, or right across the street from the baseball stadium and the soccer stadium here in D.C., but it's a thriving community of folks, and there's a thriving black community. What I would say is a lot of transplants.
Right.
So a lot of people who this actually may be their first election, this primary and the main election in November. This may be their first election as voting as D.C. residents. But you're a national, well-known name. Like I said, you've got a 25, 30-year career in comedy. People may know you from some of your, you've got some classic bits. You've toured with the legendary Cat Williams for years, but so many others. But I think a lot of people on the national stage have been introduced you to there. But you've done a lot of community work long before you started to run for something, and I've even seen that expand. I'll start here. Let's get this clear. So you're running for D.C. Council at Large.
Correct.
That seat for the council seat.
And a lot of people don't even know what at large is and what.
So let's start there.
All right.
What seat are you running for? And then tell me why you're running.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the show. I respect the hip politics and the way you promote it and the way you push. I'm running for D.C. Council at large. At large DC Council is made up of 13 members. 4 of them are at large, 8 of them are represent the 8 wards, and 1 of them is the chair. So I like to tell people that immediately, because a lot of people are like, what's the at large? At large represents all 8 wards. What made me run? God. I was in LA minding my business, working on my film company, Movios, and God was like, sell everything you have and go back to your city and get in these young people's lives.
For real? Wow.
Yeah. And so I told my wife to retire. She was a Santa Monica police officer, and she retired, and we moved back. So, but once I got back, I seen all of the issues that were going on, and I saw at that moment that why God had made me come back. So, I'm a spiritual individual. A lot of people might know me in comedy, but that's only 10% of my life. The other 90% is philanthropist, humanitarian, businessman. And, I like to tell people that when I worked for Viacom Network, a $1 billion corporation, they was allotting me hundreds of millions of dollars in budgets, from the BET Awards all the way down to Spring Blings. So, I produced over 25 shows for the network, and I was like, that's my passion. So that's why with my programs like Don't Shoot Guns, Shoot Cameras, I teach young people filmmaking from thought to theater. And they write the scripts, they produce the scripts, and they direct the scripts. So we want to make sure that, young people know what filmmaking is. They've made over 3 movies so far in the city. We started in Ward 8, moved it to Ward 5. And recently we moved it out to Inglewood, California, where we produced another film with Matt Barnes, Baron Davis, Snoop Dogg, and some other young people. So we're going to continue to bring that energy to Washington, D.C. I think Washington, D.C. can become the next Atlanta, Georgia. I think they can make that $8.2 billion that Atlanta is making. Right now we're making about $7 million, and I want to raise that stake and give kids more opportunities.
So you like you said, you started with Don't Shoot Guns, Shoot Cameras. That's the...
Yep. Yeah. And then we moved to Beyond Your Block.
And Beyond Your Block. So
yeah.
You've had community engagement and nonprofit ventures for years.
Correct.
You've always been, like I said, engaged. I think your comedy, especially to the Black community, has been like you've been, like I said, you've been a living legend and right there next to other legends.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you kind of skimmed over it when you said I'm a man of faith, so I'll say this: when God calls you, God calls you.
He do.
But to just say, hey, sell all of this.
Hey.
Leave what you're doing in LA. And LA is a quick flight. You can get there if you need to, but come back home and really touch down and connect to those lives. Tell me about what that switch was, because that means you're no longer doing movies or available to do as many movies. You probably got to do less stand-up. I know that continues to pay well and pay the bills. So this is beyond just what I'm gonna do day to day. This could potentially change the lifestyle, change your wife's lifestyle, and then also not that you ever left DC, but to actually be here every single day and be a presence. What was that journey? What was that journey like?
I was living right next door to Snoop, and when I told him I'm about to move, he was like, "For real, cuz? You going, cuz?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm moving," and he supported it. Cat supported it. Me and Cat just finished a tour just now, recently. And we just actually filmed this new special called Woke Folks in LA. So I still have my hand in comedy. I was doing 2 days on the road with Cat, then I come home and campaign for 5 days. So that's been this whole time I'm running for city council, and the tour just ended like 3 weeks ago. So I just, I'm a multi-faceted person, but I can multitask. My brain is, it's wild how my brain works, because my wife be like, "How you do all of that?" I'm like, I multitask. I can hear people. I can hear whispers in this room right now. I'm just like that connected. So You know, DC is my home. I was born and raised here. When you was born and raised in a place, and a place gave you so much, when it's time to go back, you got to go back and give that energy. Because I was a young person, I got shot at, I've been in jail, I've been locked up. You know, I was in that same position as these youngins. And when I got an opportunity that people believed in me, I want to be that same type of person that youngins can lean on and believe in. And it's become more than a passion. It's become like a life duty now.
When you alluded to this just now, but so your first foray, you don't go small. You jump big. You ran for mayor.
Yeah.
Ran for the independent as an independent for DC mayor.
Mm-hmm. I got
and you didn't had great showing for a person to come out. I mean,
I broke records. I made history.
I would say to come out of nowhere for folks to see that, like, yeah, I mean, you really built a coalition. I think that was when I first saw you run.
And they thought I was crazy too. Like a lot of people. I mean, you know, to them they thought I was crazy, but to me, I want to swing at the bully. Not that that's the bully, but why not swing at the bully? If the bully's picking on everybody, I'm going to go after the bully.
No, I get it. You go for the big seats.
I fight for people. Like, if me and you get in the rumble in here, I'm not going to run. I'm going to rumble with you. If anybody I met tonight, I'm friends with them now because their spirit has connected with me. That's just how I am as a person. And we got to be more like that in our city. We got to take care of each other in our city. And
fix this. Sorry, this is a real pod. This is a real life. Oh, perfect. Real life.
No, you can't hire me though.
Oh, whoops.
I got you.
There you go. There we go.
Yeah, I got you.
There we go.
All right.
My bad.
It's all good.
You get into it, but what I wanted to at least say related to that is, what lessons did you learn? What lessons did you learn in running for mayor that now prepares you to run, like I said, for council at large seat?
What lessons did I learn? I think I learned to build your team in a way where, you know, you can continue. Because the team that I had, man, they were wonderful. They did it. They got me to that point. But I just, you know, I felt like God, in this one, he just moved some of those individuals out and moved other individuals in. I think teamwork is the key. I think I learned that you got to raise money, a lot of money.
And this is can you talk about this? Is something that's interesting. People think that all politics is big money.
It's not.
For a council at large seat, correct me if I'm wrong, you can only take $100 per person.
Correct. In the fair election program, yep. That's where the city match the funds 5-1. So every $5 you get, the city will match it 5-1. So, you know, if you get $100, that's $500 they give you. So I mean, it makes sense, but a lot of times people don't give. So you got to really be out there, you know, raising. So
what in that past election and this election, what is one community issue? Because one thing I'll say, I see you in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
You can see it through social media. I see it on other folks' social media. I've seen the signs. I've run into, I think it's been once or twice I've run into some of your canvassing operations and people with the red shirts on,
mm-hmm.
and so forth. So I think to that part of like
we're truly organized. You know, I feel like if you ever look at Rustin Boehner, I think that's his name, the movie Rustin.
Oh, Rustin. Yeah,
okay, yeah. Rustin. All right. So he showed you how to organize. And
Rustin, for those that don't know, was one of Martin Luther King's right hand guys. This is a movie out on Netflix about his life right now.
He was one of the ones who actually was the brainchild behind the March on Washington and how they organized that. And I think when you organize, you can get to where you want to be. When you're unorganized, you can't. And that's what I want. I want to see our community get more organized. I want to see black people like each other again. You know, I mean, in a real way. Like when we speak and we say something and we do it, let's do it. Let's protect each other again. You know, let's have a community. And when I talk like this, people be like, man, he's talking crazy, but I'm really serious. I really think that we can have a community that is special, like no other. You know, we're the most intelligent people in the world. We come from Africa. Our spirits are directly engaged in our forefathers and our ancestors, but they split us up over here.
You're right.
You know, the Willie Lynch concept is in full effect at all times.
So to that point with DC, I would say going over I've been here 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
I got here at college 25 years ago, and I've seen this go from deep chocolate city to a light vanilla latte.
You're right.
But I think there's
cool.
There's pros and cons. But
yeah.
I'm curious to you, because when I look on your website and look at some of the things that you're standing for and running for and things you wanted to accomplish, talk to me about, I guess, at least one of your key economic points. Because at the end of the day, we are going through, money is more expensive. People are, student loans is still high. Debt is still high. We see rents going up all over the place. I mean, we're in a nice building now, but I might have to move, and I'm still doing. You know what I mean? Like, because the rents is going up, housing costs are there. People are feeling that strain, that financial strain. Obviously, city council and just your city government can't get all of those things done, but there's a lot of money and a lot of development, a lot of things coming to the city, and city council has a lot of power. Both here in DC and in city councils around the country have a lot of economic power in terms of understanding and writing the rules of the road on who can develop, who can, where you can put certain things in, and also how budgets and those budgets that the mayors may make, how that money is appropriated and allocated. What's something that if you were to get into city council that, from an economic standpoint, that you plan to either implement or something you really want to work on?
Well, I mean, I'm a pragmatic Democrat. I think about, I look at ways in a simplistic and a common sense way. And I think politics has gotten away from a common sense way of thinking. If east of the river is struggling the most and when it comes to housing, and our seniors are struggling the most when it comes to housing, I feel like that's where it should be the money should be allocated. Because they're struggling the most. You know, we have the highest rate of homelessness right now if you take all of the
per capita?
Per capita, plus in the last year and a half it's gone up 13% homelessness. Our young people we're not giving them enough equity in school. I'm big on making sure our young people can get money in school. I feel like summer jobs shouldn't just be summer jobs. It should be all year round. We should be making sure our young people are getting equity, because I talk to them on a daily basis, and a lot of them don't want to be in the positions that they're in. A lot of these youngins that might be rob and steal and get cars, they don't want to be in those positions, you know. So we gotta be a government that understands what they need too. You know, we got to be more innovative. In our schools, we got to bring gaming back, coding, cybersecurity. You know, have our young people making money now. It's a very simple plan. It just has to be implemented. And as a person like myself running for a city council at large, I feel like my voice is a big voice, and I'm going to scream it. You know, it's not just about making legislation. It's about who they're going to listen to. You know, who can build those relationships again. Because we know, me and you, we know that the council and the executive, they're beefing. Maybe not all of them, but most. You know, it's a stagnant situation.
Yeah, it is.
And then our ANCs get caught up where nobody's paying attention. And they spending money out their own pocket. Nobody's giving them stipends. They should be making about $10,000 just in stipends. We should give them that just to help the community, instead of them coming out their own pocket for the cookouts and things they want to do for the community. So, I'm big on that.
We got a few people in the room, and I know
we got a good crowd.
Before I get to any of my last couple questions, I got time for one or two questions. Does anybody have one? Yes.
I have an attorney.
That's your attorney.
I have a question. So, what type of?
Say your name.
Kelvin Isom.
Okay.
From Ward 8.
Kelvin Isom from Ward 8.
Nice to meet you. I've met Kelvin before. He's a great guy.
So one of my questions would be, what type of roles and responsibilities would you implement into the council seat or council at large seat to change the trajectory of where it has been going, so that it can go into a different direction for a better community?
For our listeners, you said what type of roles and responsibilities
would you implement
for the council seat for council, your current and in the future council seats, so that it can change the
trajectory, so that it can shape the future generations of the community towards a more holistic community, and like you said, you want to build on education and that sense of community.
So just I want to make sure listeners, people here. So, what type of roles and responsibilities would you look to interject into the council seat so it can change the trajectory of what it means to be there, be in the council, and to help shape kind of our community moving forward?
Well, I mean, that's a great question. First of all, we have to start with love, care, and respect again. I know when I say that,
these council meetings get kind of crazy.
Yeah, but somebody got to bring a sense of love, care, and respect back to this city and scream it to the top. And I've been saying that for 4 years, and people are like, oh, love, care, and respect. Nah, it starts with that in our community. It starts with looking at each other in the eyes and really, getting to the heart. And a lot of people want to legislate from down at the Wilson building. We gotta get boots on the ground again. I want to be a council member that has a office in every ward, because I'm representing every ward. And Ward 8 and Ward 7,
For those that don't know, Ward 8 and Ward 7 are historically black communities.
Correct.
Usually I would say underserved communities in some parts of them throughout the course of the city.
Well, the craziest thing, when I was growing up, it wasn't a Ward 8. It was only a Ward 7. So Ward 7 was stretched all the way. That's why it's only, 7 districts when it comes to police, the 7D is, there's no 8D. But I think community, I come from the Marion Barry era, where he really poured a lot of love and energy into us. He took care of the young people and he took care of the seniors. And those two groups are very important, because when they are at harmony, the middle going to fit in, the 25 and up is going to fit in. But if the youngest is running around with no care and love and no understanding of what's going on, and we wondering why the truancy level is so high in our schools, is because we ain't giving them what they want. It's innovation that they already like. I just left Ballou High School maybe an hour ago, and talking to the Teen New Deal. They got a whole program over there where young people go after school and formulate ideas, and I was feeling the energy. Energy of young people is what we need at all times. And I'm not talking about I'm talking about our teenagers too. We got to get back into their lives, and it's a disconnect, and we got to make sure that disconnect is there. I mean, that disconnect is not there, and fix it. So I want to put that back into it, but I also want to make sure that the equity is put in, the proper equity. They speak on equity being given to Ward 8, but it's not enough. You go in some of these homes right now, they should be like, the government should be giving people money to fix their homes so they won't move out of them and they won't lose their homes. So I want to be that voice first, but pushing equity across the river as much as possible.
It's still going. It's still going.
Is that good? We good?
Yeah, we all good. We all
Okay,
good.
okay.
If I can see it here, then that means it's
Okay,
it's
cool.
there.
All right, cool. All right, cool. That'll be messed up with the whole thing. All this great information. Oh, Reg, you got to come back next week. Election is over. No, it's kidding.
No, we good. If I can see it here, it's
good.
Something that I've started to see in this. What, like I said, you're of the community. When hip politics, like I said, is a platform that, when using the term hip hop and using that as a cultural marker, like hip hop just turned 50 last year. This is 50 plus one.
Mm-hmm.
So there's people who are 5, there's people who 55, 65. Mm-hmm. Like my favorite rapper is in his 50s. My favorite rapper of all time, Jay-Z, is in his 50s. Mm-hmm. But I've just been bumping this little Tekka song with Kodak Black for the last few months, and Lil Tecca, I think, might be 19, 20. It's the range is there.
My range is the same. I got a 15-year-old, so I gotta stay hip. I gotta stay current.
But that don't mean you can't mess with your folks like Snoop.
That's everybody.
But
Snoop, I'm glad you brought up Snoop, because if you think about it, like people like Snoop, Jay, I feel like myself, Dave Chappelle, a lot of people have created culture, and we're going to continue to create culture, right? But we never disconnect ourselves from the youngins.
From the youngin' and from the... So to that point, with hip-hop maturing, with our figures across the culture maturing and now becoming key voices, I think someone like yourself, because I got the chance a few years ago when I started.
I always ask people, aren't y'all tired of corny politicians? Like, I mean, I'm not saying, no disrespect, your favorite politician might be corny, but I'm tired of them. I'm tired of the disconnect, and I think that a lot of us are professionals in this room, and I come from a professional background. They try to act like professionals can't come in and do the same job that someone else in politics can do. But we're gonna do a better job because we come from a professional background. I was talking to my brother from Baylor, right? He got his job 2 days ago, right? But he bragging on that. These are the things, we got so many people coming to DC. We got a whole melting pot of people coming to DC. So I want to make sure that the culture of DC, first of all, is not lost, and the people who come here understand the culture that is beautiful and add to the culture. So
I think that's one of the things that makes the city great. But I think it's bigger than DC in terms of you running in this sense. Like I was saying, is a few years ago, also running for a city council seat was one of the legends, the GOATs of hip hop, Scarface.
Yep. Good friend of mine.
Down in Houston, Texas. Yep. And he joined us, I think that was back in 2019 he came.
One of my golf buddies.
Oh yeah, he's a big golfer.
Yeah.
Big time golfer.
Me too.
But when I see folks like yourself to a Scarface, but I see so many different people that you see coming from the culture now actually running for elected office. And God willing, you win, but you got it, because I always, as a political campaigner, and that's kind of the world I win in. It's like my number 1 rule, number 2 rule, and number 3 rule is win, win, win.
Me too.
Because in order to be able to write the laws, to apportion the money, to do all those things, history is written by the winners. So we've got to make sure people from the culture are supported and win. But I still think there's just the candidacy shows folks, not just from, I would say, entertainment, but from the culture, that they have a place in elected government. tell me, did anybody? I'm a curious question. Did anybody try to talk you out of it from entertainment? Because I'm always curious.
Not from not from entertainment.
That?
When I first got in it, they did try. Like people were coming to me like, get out the race. I've had whispers, take this money, all of that. And Cat Williams said it best. Red Grant can't be bought. I already made money. I'm cool when it comes to money. I don't need no money. Like I can retire right now, and comedy and movies and film have done that for me. That I can retire right now, go on the beach and chill. But that ain't my goal. That ain't my destiny. So nobody really. They all encourage me. All my friends encourage me. Cat Williams came to town, threw a fundraiser for me. Snoop has given me money. Shucks.
And he gave you an epic. He gave you an epic little campaign ad too. I saw.
Oh yeah, he gave me a nice campaign ad, and that's big. That you can't pay for that. That's a free. That was me being in LA a few weeks ago and doing a Netflix special for Cat, and the next day the dog was like, "Come over to the house," and because I'm a gamer also. Me and him got a Madden league called GGL. So I went over there. We did our GGL thing. Boom, he did the drop. But I'm a big gamer right now. I tap in with so many different genres. That's why my opponent said the other day, yeah, he wants to front for the gram. I'm like, nobody want to follow you on the gram. I'm not fronting for the gram. I'm just people follow me.
I think that's important that when you start talking about what it means to really tap into folks that people, like you said, know that can cut through and break through. But we have a messaging problem. We have a connection problem.
That is it.
And I think at one of some people could say is one of the scariest times in recent history with the advent of AI, with, like I said, with inflation, with so many things going on environmentally in our world, is that we need to not, and things are happening to us that we're not actually listening because we don't have those right messengers.
Let me say this, so I'm not to cut you off. Like my last race, politically, science-wise, I wasn't supposed to win, right? I didn't know that. But politically, science-wise, I wasn't. So they didn't really put a lot of energy. But this one, it's a neck-and-neck race. And I've gotten my Wikipedia cut off. I've gotten you can't even Google me, right? If you Google me, none of my professional stuff is gonna come up. It's just all comedy stuff. And if you put Rodney Grant in there, Rodney Red Grant, white dude gonna pop up. And yeah, that's how serious it is. That's when I know I'm making headways. When they snatching my signs down out the street, and when they going in my yard, and I'm catching them in my yard. I caught somebody in my yard.
In your yard?
Yeah, he took 4 signs. And he came back to take the 5th and 6th sign. And my wife came downstairs. She was like, "He's out there." And I ran out the house. My neighbor was out there with his dog. He was like, "He's telling your signs around the corner." He came around the corner with my signs. I said, "Man, why you got my signs in your hand?" I mean, I was a little bit frazzled. And I said, "Man, put my signs down." He dropped my signs, got on the bike, and rode away. Like, I mean, I got a video of it, but that's some scary stuff to me. What about if he was on another mission?
Mm-hmm. Even that shows the power. I mean, no change comes without strong resistance. I want to wrap up on a lighter note. This is something we ask all our guests, and I'm curious. I mean, as a candidate, and as a campaign vet like myself, one of the music is really important to campaign.
Heck yeah.
The music you walk out to, if you go into a speech, the music you decide to use in your campaign ads, like the music that just gets you going in the mindset to make sure you you ready to be out there? Because it's a lot. Kissing babies, shaking hands, run. I mean, you running from this taper right here. You about to run to another campaign event to see more people and so forth. But like I said, we're Hip Politics. We focus on hip hop culture. So I know I've been in your car. I think one time, like riding. So I know your ear to the street.
Yeah.
Give me your big three of the music that is getting you going through this campaign.
King Von.
Wow, for real?
Yeah.
King Von, that like a bunch of stuff or any?
No, this is the story joint that they give me hype every time. I listen to some Biggie, like, you know, Biggie this period give me hype. And then I listen to They Not Like Us. I see dead people.
That new Kendrick?
Yeah. I mean, he put it together on that one, you know. Sometimes you gotta pop out in shows. Sometimes you gotta pop out in shows.
No, you're right. Sometimes
You know,
gotta pop out and show.
and you know, that give me hype. You know, and you know, Mustard my friend too. So for him to have that, and with that makes me feel good.
Well, Mr. Grant, I'll definitely call you Mr. Grant.
Appreciate
Hopefully, future Councilman Grant. But Red, as a friend, I want to say thank you, man, for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Let folks know where in the video. We'll make sure you, like I said, that this is coming out pretty quickly after we do this because the local election is coming up in.
It's already started.
Time.
It's already started. The early voting is already there. And that ends on the 2nd, which is Sunday. Monday's off, and then election day is June 4th. You know, it all came so quick. But I do want to do one thing. I want to shout out Team Red, all the people who worked on my past campaign, this campaign.
I hear Team Red in the building.
Oh yeah, when I said Team Red, you know, and they work harder than me. Shout out to the Rich Kid Foundation, who's in here right now. They help feed people every week, and I just tap into them, and they doing the work, feeding the homeless, feeding the less fortunate, and people like that. So my team, Troy and them are in here, my video team, you know, my brother Hollywood is in here. But I just want to tell you, if you want to find out about Red Grant, go to Grant at Large. GRANT@large.com, and just follow the movement. We got about 5 more days before the election. If you're in the room and you want to come knock doors with us, that's what we do. We're going to win this election. We're very positive. We're very upbeat about this election. We really understood the science of this one, even when they said it could not be done. We went from a position of 10 points, supposed to be 90-10, now it's 50-50. And I like our chances. Yeah.
Well, Rodney Red Grant, candidate for council at large here in Washington, D.C. I want to thank you again for joining the Politics Podcast, Candidate Conversation. Sorry, I think we ran over a little bit long, but
it's
it
all
was
good.
A good conversation.
Sometimes we're going to pop out and show.
Sometimes we got to pop out and show. So with that, for all our listeners, thank you. Make sure you tune into Hip Politics everywhere you can, everywhere you get your podcasts, on all platforms. GrantAtLarge.com.
Yep.
To donate. To donate or support the Red Grant movement. And with that, we're out. Peace.
We out.
Hip Politics, baby.